My, my name is Kavya. Today I'm going to do a demo which is intended to my internship. In this demo, today in this demo we have discussed in unit testing. Unit testing. Unit testing is one of the main unit testing is one of the main phase in developing phase. Here, developers can do they can do this part. Once documentation phase is completed, then corresponding Scrum team developer will start coding. Once Scrum team developers understand the user stories or backlogs, then Scrum team developers will develop the individual programs according to user stories or backlogs. Those individual programs corresponding Scrum team developer need to do the unit testing. Unit is nothing but smallest part of the application, but most meaningful area in this application, that is called unit. Here, each unit is one individual program. Corresponding SD developer should cross-check those individual programs by following or applying by white box testing techniques. Here, unit testing we can also call as white box testing techniques. Here, white box testing techniques means which techniques used by ST Scrum team developers. Those techniques we can call as white box testing techniques. In white box testing techniques, mainly we can see below four types. I have to go to share my screen. Okay. Yeah, white box testing techniques mainly four types. That is white box. Four types. There are one is basic path coverage testing technique. Basic path coverage testing technique. And second one is control structure coverage. Third one is programmatic testing technique coverage. Programmatic testing coverage. Testing technique. And final one is, fourth one is mutation coverage. Sorry, mutation coverage testing technique. These four types are white box testing techniques or testing techniques. Here, first we have to discuss about the basic path coverage is a white box testing technique that ensures all possible paths in a program are tested at least at least once. The goal is to execute a set of test cases that cover different control flow paths, especially focusing on those that may include conditional branches, example, if statements, loop statements. Key concepts of the basic path coverage is one is path, second one is control flow graphs, third one is basic path. These are the key concepts. First one is path, a unit route. Key concepts. Path, control flow graph. Second one is control flow graph. And third one is basic path. Basic path. These are the key concepts of the basic path coverage testing technique. First one is path, a unique route through the program's control flow. Here, path, a unique route through the program's control flow graphs. Second one is control flow graph, a graphical representation of all paths in a program where nodes represent the statements or instructions and edges represents the control flow between them. Basic. Third one is basic path, the minimum set of paths through the program that ensures all possible execution sequences are covered, usually focused on key decision points like branches. Basic path coverage testing. The primary object is to ensure that every independent path, that is a path that hasn't been covered by any other path in the program, is executed at least once. This technique is particularly useful for testing decision structures such as if and while loops because it ensures that all possible outcomes of these decisions are tested. The control flow graphs for this function, sorry, okay, path coverage test cases. To achieve basic path coverage, we need to design test cases that cover both paths. Test case 1 is x equal to 5. Here, test case 1. Test case 1 is x equal to 5 and y equal to 3. This which flows path 1, that is x less x greater than equal to y, that is x greater than y. Here test case 2 is x equal sorry equal to 3, y equal to 5, that is x less than equal to y. Steps in path coverage testing is the identity paths. For each decision point, identify all possible paths. Second, create test cases ensures that each path is covered by at least one test case. Third one is execute. Run the test cases and verify the outputs. Advantages of basic path coverage. Thoroughness ensures that all independent paths are executed, which can help identify logic errors in the control flow. Second one is simplicity. It focuses on key decision points and avoids the complexity of testing every possible combination of conditions, which could be inflexible in larger programs. Disadvantages of basic path coverage is limited scope. While it guarantees coverage of each path, it doesn't guarantee that all edge cases, such as input boundary cases, are tested. Second one is path explosion. In more complexity programs, the number of possible paths grows exponentially, making it hard to cover all paths. Summary of the basic path coverage is an essential technique in structural testing, ensuring that each independent path in the program is tested. It's particularly useful for catching error in decision-making logic. However, for more complex systems, it may need to be supplemented with other techniques like branch coverage or conditional coverage. This is the basic path coverage testing technique. And second one is control structure coverage testing technique. Control structure coverage testing technique is one of the wide unit testing technique that focuses on ensuring that all control structures like conditional statements, loops, and branches in a program are executed during testing. The primary goal is to verify the correctness of a program's flow by testing each possible control flow paths. Key concepts of control structure is one is key concept control structures and second one is control flow graph. Control flow graph. First one is control structures. These are the components of a program that dictate the flow of execution. Common control structures includes one conditional statements, example if else switch. Second, loops, example for while loop. Third, branches, example else if. Second one is control flow graphs. A graphical representation of a flow of control through the program. It shows all possible paths based on the decision points and loops. Types of control structure coverage. In this control structure coverage, in- we have four types of coverages. Types of coverages. One is statement coverage. Sorry, coverage and second one is branch coverage. Branch coverage. Third one is condition coverage. Condition coverage. And fourth one is path coverage. First, we have to discuss the statement coverage. Statement coverage ensures that each statement in the program is executed at least once in guarantee that every line of the code has been executed during testing. Second, we have to discuss the branch coverage, ensures that each possible branch, that is the true and false parts of the conditionals, is executed at least once. It focuses on testing both the true and false branches of if statements or other conditional exposures. Third one is condition coverage. Ensures that each condition in a decision, example, in an if statement, evaluates to both true and false at least once. This ensures that all individual conditions are thoroughly tested, even if they are part of a more complex expression. Fourth one is path coverage. Ensures that every unique path through the program's control flow is executed at least once, including combination of statements and conditions. This is a more comprehensive form of control structure coverage. Here, test cases for coverage is test cases. So x equal to 5 and y equal to 3. That is x greater than y. That is x equal to 3 and y equal to 5. Sorry, y equal to also 3. That is x equal to 5. And third test case, x equal to 2 and y equal to 3. That is x less than equal to y. These are the test cases of the control path. Types of control advantages of control structure coverage is thoroughness, ensures that all control flows, branches, and conditions are tested. Second, identifying hidden bugs. It helps uncover hidden bugs by testing different combinations of conditions and branches. Third one is preventing logical errors. Ensures that the program behaves as expected under different flow conditions. Disadvantages of the structure coverage testing technique is path explosion in more complex programs with numerous conditions. The number of paths can become large, making it challenging to cover all paths exhaustively. Second, may not cover all cases depending on the level of coverage. Example, statement or branch coverage. Some edge cases or combinations of conditions might still be missed. These are the disadvantages. Control structure coverage is a virtual testing technique for validating the correctness of program logic. It focuses on testing key control structures like conditions and loops to ensure that all parts and branches are executed at least once. This method provides a more targeted approaches to testing than random or ad hoc testing, ensuring that the program's flow is thoroughly examined. Third one is programmatic testing technique coverage. Programmatic testing coverage is a broad term used to describe the practice of assigning how thoroughly a program's code is tested. The primary goal is to measure how much of the program's logic functions or code paths are exercised during testing. Various techniques are used to evaluate and improve this coverage to ensure high quality software. Here is the key concept of this concept. First one is code coverage. Coverage. Okay. And the second one is coverage tabs. Statement coverage, branch coverage, coverage, function coverage. These are the two key concepts of the programmatic testing coverage. One is code coverage. Second one is second there are some types of coverages are there. First, we have to discuss the code coverage. This is the primary metric in programmatic testing coverage. It qualifies the percentage of the code that is executed during testing. Code coverage helps identify parts of the code that have not been tested, which might lead to the undetected bugs. Second one is coverage types. In coverage types, first type is statement coverage. Statement coverage ensures that each statement in the code is executed at least once during testing. It focuses on verifying that every line of code has been executed. Second one is branch coverage. Ensures that every possible branch, example, the true and false outcomes of an if statement, it is executed at least once. It verifies that all decisions in the code are evaluated both ways. Third, path coverage ensures that every possible path through the code is tested at least once, including combinations of decisions and loops. And fourth is function coverage. Ensures that each function or method is called at least once during testing. Fifth one is condition coverage. Ensures that each individual condition in a decision, example, in an if statement, evaluates to both true and false at least once. And advantages of this programmatic testing coverage is improved confidence by ensuring that all critical paths are covered. Developers can be more confident that the software behaves as expected. Early detection. Second advantage is early detection of defects. With high coverage, many defects are caught early during testing before they make it to production. Third advantage is a documentation of test quality coverage. Reports can act as documentation to show how well the code is tested. Disadvantages of the programmatic testing coverage testing technique is first one is not foolproof. Achieving high coverage does not necessarily mean the code is free of bugs. Some edge cases or logical errors might still be missed. Second disadvantage is overhead. Achieving very high coverage can be time consuming and require writing extensive tests, especially in large programs. Third disadvantage is focus on quality over quality. Mm. Third disadvantage is focus on quantity over quality. Sometimes achieving high coverage numbers can lead developers to focus on covering lines of code rather than testing meaningful scenarios. Finally, the summary of the programmatic testing coverage is a technique used to evaluate the effectiveness of testing by measuring how much of code is tested. It evaluates using coverage metrics like statement, branch, ensures that critical code paths are tested. High code coverage increases confidence in the quality of the software, but it is essential to balance it with the quality of test sets, as high coverage alone does not guarantee bug-free softwares. And this is the programmatic testing coverage. And finally, one is mutation coverage testing technique is an advanced by the unit testing technique that helps evaluate the effectiveness of a test suite by introducing small changes. Small changes means small mutations to the program's code and checking if the existing tests can detect these changes. The main goal is to measure how well the test suite can detect errors by mutating. Here, mutating means some changes. The code and seeing if the test fails. Key concepts of the mutation coverage is four types. Mhm. First one is mutation. Second one is mutant, mutant, and third one is killing a mutant, killing a mutant, and fourth one is sur- surviving a mutant. Survive mutant. First, we have to discuss theme. Mutation. Mutation is small part intentional modification of the program's code. This could involve changing operators or variables or conditions or values. For example, changing an plus operator to minus or altering a variable's values. Second one is mutant, the modified version of the original program after a mutation is applied. Third, killing a mutant. When a test case detects and fails the mutant, that is, the mutant produces a different output from the original programs. This means that the test suite is effective in catching changes in the program's logic. Fourth one is surviving a mutant. If the test passes with the mutant code, it means the test suite did not detect the change, indicating that the test suite might not be true enough. In the mutation process, we have the some in mutation we have some process steps in the some steps in the mutation testing process. In the mutation, we have the some process steps in the mutation. That is sorry, mutation testing process. That is one is create mutants. Second one is execute test, execute test, and third one is evaluate results, evaluate, sorry, evaluate results, and fourth one is mutation score. Mutation score. These are the steps of the mutation testing process. First, create mutants, by modifying the code by introducing small changes, such as change arithmetic operations and modify logical operators. Third, change variable values or constants or alter comparison operators. Second one is execute tests. Run the existing test cases against both the original program and the mutants. Third one is evaluate results. Analyze whether the tests kill the mutants by causing them to behave differently from the original code. If a mutant survives, it suggests that the test suite may not be covering all relevant scenarios. Fourth one is mutation score. a metric that indicates the effectiveness of the test suits. It calculated as the ratio of killing mutants to the total number of mutants. That is mutation score. Mutation score. Number of killed mutants. Mutants by total number of mutants. 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 Okay. Into this is the mutation score. Finally, the advantages are sorry. Test cases of the mutation. One is even that is or should return to. These are the test cases of the mutation coverage. And finally, advantages of the mutation coverage is thoroughness. Mutation testing ensures that the test suite is comprehensive and capable of catching various types of faults. Second advantage is quality assessment. It provides an objective measures of test quality by directly assessing whether that test cases can detect small code modifications. And disadvantages of the mutation coverage is first one is high computational cost. Mutation testing can be resource intensive because it involves running a large number of mutants and tests for complex programs. This can be test time consuming. Second disadvantage is limited scope. While mutation testing is effective in finding subtle errors, it might not always simulate real world faults accurately as the mutations are manually crafted and may not always resemble common coding mistakes. Finally, summary of this mutation coverage is a technique that evaluates the quality of a test suite by introducing small mutations in the code and checking if the test can detect these changes. It provides valuable insights into how effective a code suite is in detecting faults and helps improve software quality by identifying areas that requires more thorough testing. However, due to its computational cost and complexity, it is often used in combination with other testing techniques. These are the types of white box or unit testing techniques. Thank you.